How was the fall?
A human has fallen from the surface world.
How was the fall?
No time has fallen.
How was the fall?
Enough.
Oh, how was the fall?
Welcome to the underground.
How was the fall?
If you wanna look around,
How was the fall?
we don't see humans often.
How was the fall?
I'll be so popular when I show all the monsters what I just brought in.
Papyrus. How was the fall?
TENNA'S, no time for banter.
Excuse me. How was the fall?
You're just lazy and apathetic.
Call me what you want. How was the fall?
Another bad joke and I'm finished with him. We are monsters, the awfulest kind.
How was the fall?
We can relate to your determination, because we monsters have our motivations. You meant betrayed us and left us burning. One day we'll make our way back to the surface. Through all your travels, your sins will follow. Your consequences aren't easy to swallow. Who's the real monster? Now you should know. You've got this story down to
How
the
was the fall?
Really, Sans?
What?
The last line of the chorus.
How was the fall?
You imbecile! That was very clever.
How was the fall?
You're stuck in the underground.
Thanks. How was the fall?
Good luck ever getting out.
How was the fall?
Could show mercy to us.
How was the fall?
Is your heart full of evil?
How was the fall?
I, the great Papyrus, challenge you to try getting by us.
How was the fall?
Brilliant Sans that will leave him befuddled. I dare you to try a bite of spaghetti.
How was the fall?
Stop it, Sans! I'm done with it. Has fallen.
Sounds like. How was the fall?
can relate to your determination, because we monsters have our motivations. I am the mastermind, he's my accomplice.
How was the fall?
You'll lose your mind when you wander for hours. You might even decide to start talking to flowers. Who's the real monster? Now you should know. You've got this story down to the
Has fallen. Someday I'll join the royal guard. When I catch this child, can it be that hard?
How was the fall? 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 Kidding! How was the fall?
Down here in the underground,
How was the fall?
we wanted to tell you now.
How was the fall?
If you survive this prison,
How was the fall?
don't mess around with monsters.
How was the fall?
Come far, but soon you'll stumble when I stump you with some junior dumble.
How was the fall?
Alas, I'll hit him with my special attack.
How was the
Leave me
fall?
alone.
You know I got a name.
Has fallen, and I'll be done.
How was the fall?
can relate to your determination, because we monsters have our motivations. You know your story's already been told. We can play again if you sell your soul.
How was the fall?
I'll find and skeletons inside your closet.